Coinbase's IPO is coming, and once again, no one does it like Chico. We've been following it closer than anyone else since the news first leaked. Obviously, now the floodgates are opened. It's public news that the event is near. Although there are still hidden leaks, and only this channel you can find them with. You ready to sip our frickin' drip? Because it's time for Chico Crypto. The news crossing the airwaves was oh so bullish yesterday. Pre-trading through NASDAQ private markets has already commanded a $77 billion valuation for Coinbase. So let's break this down. In that CoinDesk article, it says last week's closing price of Coinbase shares hit a high of $303. But it also says Coinbase pre-IPO futures contracts were trading on crypto derivative exchange FTX at about $386 at the time of the writing. At $386 per share, that commands a higher valuation of nearly $100 billion. By the time the IPO actually begins, that could be the price on NASDAQ's own private markets and not just FTX. So I just want to play what I said about this nearly 2 months ago, right after I cut my long hair and Bitcoin cracked 20K. Well, Coinbase's king unicorn as a startup the last time they did a funding round in 2018 was valued at $8 billion. And over 2 years have passed. So what's it worth today, pre-IPO? Well, Messari Research put out a model and explanation and valued Coinbase pre-IPO and post-IPO filing at $28 billion. Those are just predictive figures for today, nothing set in stone. Coinbase, based on funding rounds, is worth $8 billion today. But those predictive figures from Messari show how hyped this one will be. And when the IPO does go live on the NYSE, $100 billion valuation or more, not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, we predicted that like no one else could. So what was that video all about back then? It was about eventually getting to 100K per BTC. It was price predictions due to the Coinbase IPO. Let's listen to my prediction back in December with the price chart going along with my predictions. Now, I don't know if Business Insider has some information we don't have, but they said this. Following speculation from a few months ago, the US-based crypto giant has filed to go public early next year per its blog post. Not mid, but early. So me thinks it's coming around March 2021. And that's in just 3 short months. But in that time, what will happen? Well, I predict a short sell-off in January for BTC, but it will not be long and BTC will suddenly start to rebound, crossing 30K late January, and then in February we get the news, the official date of the Coinbase IPO. It's in March, thus 40K, it will be breached the month of February, and then up to 50K, possibly past it, near 60K, depending on what the share price of Coinbase is doing in March when it goes live. Holy schmackerel, I was almost dead on. A Shooter McGavin of sorts. But now it's time to pull out Shooter's crux, the Adam Sandler long drive. So my friends, these shares of Coinbase, they have been trading. Like the Coinbase article said, NASDAQ's private markets have valued them at $303. The article also states the Coinbase private market is running an anonymous order book ahead of the company's direct public listing, a date for which is still unknown. The sale allows current and former employees, as well as investors in Coinbase, to take some cash off the table. Around 254 million shares in Coinbase will be outstanding and available to trade when the firm goes public, according to the sources with knowledge of the offering. So what we can take from that is Coinbase insiders and investors are getting to play around pre-IPO, either get some cash themselves or increase their Coinbase share stack. But the major piece from that CoinDesk article is the Coinbase private market is running an anonymous order book. The order book is hidden. It's not just open to anyone, it's anonymous. Why is that? Well, there hasn't been a lick of information about those who get to trade the asset. Coinbase shares, literally, you cannot find a single person talking about their experience. Why? Well, I think there is an NDA holding those that have it back, as they have something to announce in March. Coinbase will be taking a different route than the typical IPO. Of course, we know when they go public to the public, they are taking the unorthodox route of a direct listing. But that is not the full story. To figure out the full story, we have to back up to the end of 2018. It was leaked then that Nasdaq was considering launching their own regulated crypto token trading venue for securities tokens. Well, just a few months later, early 2019, it was announced that they had invested 20 million buckaroos into Symbiont. And the article stated, as part of the investment, Nasdaq Financial Framework, a software company owned by the exchange, will integrate Symbiont's Assembly smart contracts platform to explore new avenues involving tokenization. Well, that integration, it came July of 2020. This news came and it got swept under the rug, but Ben Jessel, contributor to Forbes, knew something was up. He posted, Nasdaq's new platform backed by R3, digital assets, Symbiont, and Microsoft may not be what you think it is. His article stated, last week, the exchange giant Nasdaq announced the launch of its SaaS-based digital asset suite named the Marketplace Services Platform. Then, going to Nasdaq's own explainer on this, they say the Nasdaq Marketplace Services Platform provides a complete end-to-end service-based platform to operate marketplaces in a cloud environment. Built on top of the Nasdaq Financial Framework. Remember, that is what Symbiont was brought on for in early 2019, to integrate into Nasdaq's financial framework. That is what CoinDesk said. Nasdaq continues. The platform provides access to functionally robust services covering the transaction lifecycle, from issuance of assets and trading through pre-trade risk management, market surveillance, and efficient digital custody and settlement. So the big question is this: has Nasdaq's anonymous Coinbase private market integrated with Nasdaq's Marketplace Services platform, which is built with blockchain and focused on digital assets? It would make sense. Well, in November of 2020, we got a hint. This news was dropped. A company called Templum shifted from Ethereum to a Symbiont-built private blockchain for STOs. Yeah, Templum was using Symbiont and Nasdaq Marketplace Services to issue their STO. And the article stated, regulatory compliance also poses a challenge when using Ethereum for security tokens. According to Templum CEO Christopher Paiota, legal concerns over the status of Ethereum miners also played a role in Templum's latest transition. Paiota said, "We believe for securities issuance, you need a private controlled blockchain. You need control of the full life cycle." So there's still a chance that Coinbase has tokenized in the private markets. The news isn't just out yet. And I want to replay this clip of Jeff Roberts, senior Fortune magazine contributor, when he was on the Unchained podcast in July of last year. Jeff had spoken to Fred Ursum, Coinbase co-founder, just weeks earlier, discussing the IPO and tokenization. Here's what Jeff said after talking to Coinbase's co-founder and board seat holder.
I think the most interesting thing is going to be what sort of IPO is it? Because I know when I talked to Fred Ursum recently, one of the co-founders of Coinbase, he hinted strongly there's going to be some sort of token issuance. So I think it could be America's first combo ICO and IPO, which would be super cool. So that's what I'm waiting to hear about. In terms of whether they're going public, yeah, of course they are. But I think that part of the story is what's most interesting to me.
So when could we figure this tokenization out? Will it be a combination STO IPO or not? Well, back to CoinDesk's $77 billion valuation article posted yesterday. They said, hopes for Coinbase's public listing are riding high within the crypto community, especially as the price of Bitcoin continues to reach above $50K. More will be revealed about Coinbase's finances when the confidential S-1 is filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and is made public in the coming weeks. In the coming weeks, we should know the full story, and like Coinbase's own co-founder, if they go the typical IPO route with no blockchain involvement.
Coinbase IPOs, do you think it's going to involve a native token? I think a lot of people would be disappointed if you just did a kind of conventional NASDAQ listing, or can you shed any speculation on that?
That would be really boring, wouldn't it?
That would be really boring. But no matter what happens, tokenization or not, it's going to be much hyped within the crypto community and beyond. A flood of publicity, a flood of eyes on the base, which isn't going to be a bad thing for those projects connected to them. Like the big airdrop that is going under the radar. Pool. People don't realize how big the lottery industry is. $200 billion, and Pool is connected to the base. Like I showed yesterday, their stablecoin bootstrap fund invested in them along with Uniswap back in April of last year. Well, the connections are bigger than just that, methinks. Why? Well, co-founder of Pool Together posted this on Medium in November of 2020 about the DApp. He said this about DApp connections to Coinbase. Wallet link is what you will use to connect with your Coinbase wallet. What is Wallet Link? Well, going to its landing page, it seems to be a development tool for connecting to the Coinbase wallet, as that's the only wallet it connects to for now. And Coinbase's Peter Kim is featured speaking on it on the website. Now, the dApps it connects to is oh so telling. Compound, a token, and it's on Coinbase. DYDX, no token yet, but Coinbase and Andreessen Horowitz connected. Maker, a token, and two of them are on Coinbase, Maker and DAI. IDEX, a DEX exchange with a token, but not on Coinbase, and why? Well, it's a competitor to Coinbase, and Coinbase is not invested in them. So, Uniswap, a token on Coinbase, but a Coinbase competitor. Why listed? Well, Coinbase and Horowitz connected, that's why. And CB's USDC fund also invested in them. 0x Protocol, same story as Uniswap, token on Coinbase and a competitor, but they are connected, that's why they're on there. How about AirSwap? Token, but Coinbase competitor and no connection, so they're not on there. Now, Kyber Network, token on Coinbase and connected. 1inch token, not on Coinbase yet. Are they connected? Not that I know of. Savlier, Zerion, DeFi Saver, Set Protocol, DDEX and Nuo, no tokens. But Synthetics and Aave, tokens connected and on Coinbase. Now we get to Pool Together. Token just launched. Coinbase connected. Those connected have their tokens on the exchange. Is it going to happen with Pool? Well, through the process of elimination through Wallet Link, it makes me think that yes, there is a likelihood of Pool eventually being added to the base. They have a token, they have an investment from Coinbase, and they are one of the projects using the Wallet Link. And Pool is here to change the DeFi game. Before the token was airdropped and released, they launched something special, the Prize Pool Builder February 9th, which the blog states it's now possible for anyone in the world to deploy a no-loss prize pool for any token. And then going to the builder, it's super simple. You choose your type of no-loss prize pool. You choose the parameters of the deposit token. Which one? You choose the random number generator service, which they are in partnership with Chainlink as one of the selections. You enter the prize period in number of days, the number of winners, and finally the fairness, which includes early exit fees and the fee decay time. Not complex at all to create, and anyone can do it. A person, a DApp, an influencer like myself. It has far-reaching implications for the world of social tokens and NFTs, which are getting hot. How will this play out is to be seen, but I'm excited for the spring and then summer and the pool to warm up. Cheers, I'll see you next time.